guys, Wahoo here, back on the video. This time around, as the thumbnail says and also the title, we are going to talk about how you are going to farm more of the Pristine Snow, the currency that is used for the event that's going on right now, the Snow Fest 2024. So yesterday we talked about how the whole quest line and how to get pristine snow and such, and the methods hasn't changed in that sense at all, but there is ways to boost your drop rates of the pristine snow, which we are going to talk about in this video. And also I made a few mistakes in the previous video in the quest line that I was aware of at the moment, but it wasn't like big deals in that sense. It's still to be saved in this video right here. So first of all, there is these hats in the game. I have a hat right here. You saw also this one, not this one, maybe it was actually this one yesterday. I think it was actually this one you saw yesterday in the video. And you can actually have more than one. They drop from, you can see here, they do drop from the dungeons itself. I'm not sure if they drop exclusively from the trees or they drop exclusively from the present dungeons or the gift dungeons. I'm not sure if they do so, but what they do, and that's the little yellow text that are right here, is that they were completing a dungeon, and I completely missed this when we were doing it, yesterday. I just thought that this was gonna be like a reward because it was the last, thing, and usually we get like some sort of like ally or mount or something like that. So I thought it was just gonna be a style, and I was like, okay, well, that's not really, it's just a yellow, basically legendary hat, which usually we don't use very much because we of course have crystal gear out there. Of course, if you're playing a new player, you start out with this stuff, but I thought it was just a hat style and you're just giving one of the hat styles to us, and then you should find the other ones as well. I knew that they were gonna drop from the dungeons, but I had no idea because I didn't read all of it. So remember to read, kids, remember to read. I didn't see the orange text in the bottom. As you can see here, completing a dungeon while equipped, received effect, increase pristine snow acquired, I think that's how you say it, from 3 dungeons during Snow Fest. So this one, as you can see, right, also has a decay time. So this hat is actually going to go away. So make sure in the end, when you're done basically farming all the things you want to do with one, make sure you of course loot collect these so you do get the hat styles. If you're not going to use the location thing that I did in the quest line, you can still do that. You're still going to get hats, but you're just going to have the styles as well. So you don't have to loot collect these as well. But what they do, as they can say, it gives you a buff when you have them equipped. But the thing is that you can have more than one hat equipped buff at a time. So right now you can see I equipped it, but if you go into under my effects, I have this one and I have this one. This is my subclass, and this is because I'm using an ally that gets you extra gear crafting vaults, because why not get some extra ones? Because I'm not doing high level on these ones. I'm still trying to get these to Paragon 40 so I can get that one done. I've been pretty slow on the Paragon. I think it's like 2-3 years old by now, and as it's been slow. I am a slow guy. I don't know. But as you can see, I didn't get the effect, and even if I change the hat, I don't get the effect. So how do you get the effect? The effect you get by having them equipped and then doing a dungeon. I'm not sure if it has to be, I've only been doing present dungeons and also the 3 dungeons. And once you complete one of those, like, if the 3 dungeon, you can do any of the dungeons inside the 3 dungeon, just do a dungeon. So I'm not sure if it works like that, if it works on like regular dungeons. But it is going to work on those at least, so that's also the ones we're going to go for, so it doesn't really matter. I'll show you guys in a little bit what it basically looks like, but you do have to do the dungeon and then you get the buff, and then you have to switch hat. That's where the thing comes in. So you have to switch hat, and then you get a 2-hour buff that then increases your chance to get more, or you get more when you do those, because you're guaranteed to get them through the 3 dungeons and also on the present dungeons. And I'll talk about that as well. But you are guaranteed to get them anyways, but you're just going to get more. So you always, when you get one of these, you are going to just get more. And the more buffs you have, the more you are going to get when you then do them. And you can have up to 5 buffs because they're 5 different hats. You cannot, of course, have them all equipped at the same time. So you have to do one dungeon and then switch your hat and then do another dungeon and then switch hat and then get up. But you have 2 hours to do it. So you can have up to those 5. I'm not sure how many you get, but I've gotten, like with 2 hats, I've gotten up to, I think 13 or something like that. So I think you can actually get up to maybe 25 would be my guess, like at a max of these ones. And before I show you guys this in action, I am going to talk about the present dungeons, because these do not work on the present dungeons. But I said yesterday that we were not going to get any Pristine Snow from the present dungeons. I really didn't know what we're going to use them for, because nothing in the quest line said so. I think they should have added that to the quest line. I would have been happy to do 20 quest steps showing us all the small tips and tricks to the quest or to the whole event. Actually, we did get some of it, but not all of it as well. And I think I was just unlucky yesterday by doing the present dungeons, because I didn't get any Pristine Snow. Usually when you go in there, you can, defeat the boss, and then you can see on your right side that you collected something. And I didn't get anything with the snow, and I don't think it was anything to do with any bugs or anything like that. I think I was just doing some dungeons that has that refrigerator. So basically there's 2 different ones. They look the same, all the present dungeons, but some of them have like this other boss guy in there, and then when you defeat that one, it spawned that, I want to call it a mimic chest. When you defeat that mimic chest, if it's just that one in there, it's gonna have snow in it, and you're always guaranteed to get 3 snow from the dungeons there, but not from the ones like I just said. If it's a bug or not, it should be also dropping from the other ones. But I've done a few of them, and every time I do one with one of those refrigerator guys, bosses, I don't get one. I do get, again, the mimic chest, but that one does not drop any snow. So yeah, I'll show you guys that when we get to the showing off part, if we can say it like that, when we're getting our buffs and all that stuff, showing you guys this in action. So I just wanted to mention that you should do the all the present dungeon, even if you see one, and you don't look at if it's, but just be aware that if you see, oh, I didn't get any snow, you might have been unlucky in getting like some of these ones, but it might be fixed in the future. Who knows? I don't really know, but just do all the present dungeons you see, or see all the 3 dungeons that you do, because why not just do them when you have the chance? It doesn't take very long at all. One thing I do want to mention before, actually 2 things I do want to mention before we head into it, is that be aware that the snow do not stack. So if I go over here to my personal chest, you can see right here, I have a bunch of stuff in here right now. I don't even know if these stack. See, these doesn't stack either. You can see this one do not stack with the ones that are right. This is exactly the same thing that I have right here. I don't know why we can't have the event tab, so it would stack all up in this one, but it do not. We have to have it in our inventory. And if you start, and maybe you have this problem as well, I haven't had a few sessions where I was playing, and as soon as you pull this from the inventory, it gets another ID, so it has a different, it's completely different, which really sucks. And I think this is the classic snowman rescue badges is gonna do exactly the same thing. So keep your event items in your inventory. Don't put them in your personal chest, because as soon as they have that ID, you cannot put them back here. So these are basically done. So I need to, of course, I can turn them into these batches things, but they're probably not going to stack with this, because like this one didn't stack, but I know that the snow doesn't, and I don't know what happened, but hopefully they will fix it. I don't know why, again, they're not using the event tab we have right here. They usually do that, but yeah, we have it in our inventory. Maybe it's something to do with crafting. I don't know. There could be a million reasons. I don't really care what the reason is. I just want it in my inventory tab. I don't want it into, this one where I just have to, like, I'm gonna run out of, these before I get enough of these. So keep it in your inventory. You can still stack it up there. As long as it's in the inventory, it's still going to stack up for some reason. But I think when it moves into your personal chest, it's going to have some sort of other ID for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, it's just going to be so. And the last thing before we go into it, I do want to talk about something I also talked about yesterday, about the present dungeons and about the, the 3 dungeons. I still wish that, I don't think that every dungeon should be a present dungeon. I think it's fine with how many present dungeons. But I really think, even with all the buffs we are getting with the hats and stuff like that, I really wish that we would get every 3-star dungeon would be a 3 dungeon. Because there's not a lot of, 3 dungeons out there. And there's not a lot of those big dungeons either, per se. But when you see one, you would know like if you see it on your map, you're like, wow, okay, I'm actually gonna go for that. Now you basically go for it and you really don't know if you're gonna get enough, if you're gonna get a tree dungeon or you're just gonna get a regular dungeon and then you have to move on. So I still feel, and this is probably something that's been going on and I haven't really been like paying attention to it, but I think this is something that's, you know, we're basically running simulator. We're just running from dungeon to dungeon. You're not really doing the dungeons because you want to have those dungeons. But if you knew that every single, you know, big dungeon or 3-star dungeon would be a tree dungeon, you'd be like more excited because you see that big dungeon or 3-star dungeon and you would basically go ahead and just like, yes, we have one right now. Now I can just farm. And then like a side bonus would be all the present dungeons that you find on your way. And then also people wouldn't fight over them as much, I think, in the same people hopefully inviting people to these ones, but I really don't think that, hopefully that's not an issue or anything like that. So yeah, that was just a little side note. Let's actually move on to showing all this, how it's going to be in action. Alright, so I found a present dungeon and I do have my hat equipped. So one of them, the hats are equipped right now. Again, I just want to show you guys right up here. It says slay the present mimic. So that is going to have just the chest. That is going to drop it. I don't know if I'm going to show it. I can show the other dungeon thing. If I find one of them, I will of course show it in the video. But just make sure it says this one up here and you will get your 3 pristine and you're guaranteed to get that. And you know, the hats doesn't boost that. Of that. So let's go down here and I have that equipped. You can see I don't have a buff up here at all. So I complete it and there you go. Now you can see I have the buff and you can also see, well, you can't because I have a big fat head, but the Pristine Snow says 3 right over here. But if I go into my effects, you can now see that increased Pristine Snow awarded from 3 dungeons. So yeah, it does say that, but I wish it also would work on these ones, but I don't know. And then when you have this one equipped and you do another dungeon, it's gonna refresh this timer right here. So yeah, that's how you do it. And then you can switch hat to another hat you have, and then you can find yourself another dungeon. So I'll find another dungeon. I'll see you guys there, and hopefully we'll also get a, you know, a tree dungeon that I can show you guys, you know, basically how it works like that. But you can see, we're gonna see how the buffs work. Alright, I found another present dungeon and I now have the other hat on. You can see this one is called Penton or something like that. And we have the magenta one right here. And you can see that's timing down 42 hours you have. And this also says present mimic dungeon. So you can see there, now I have 2 buffs. So let me just get that up there. It's much easier to see here. So now you can see, so this one just started. And this one is still going. So if I had a 3rd hat, I would, you know, find another dungeon and do it in that one as well. Maybe we should just really quickly test if it's going to renew it if we have another dungeon. Actually, a present dungeon over there. So we can probably do it in this one. So let's change it to the other helmet because it's more, maybe see, you can see there's actually, you know, the timer went down on this one. See if I can enter this one. I think you can enter from the top. Oh, you couldn't. Oh, you know, sometimes you can, I think. But let's just get in here real quick. I think we have to, oh, it's downwards. Yes, there is. So now we are going to complete this one as well. So this is just a regular dungeon. Nothing fancy pantsy about this one. So let's just get here and see if the timer reset. It did. It did reset. So you just have to do a dungeon. It doesn't have to be a present dungeon. But of course, those are the ones you're looking for the most. There's also one over there. There's going to be one here. So I'm going to do those, of course, when I'm done with this one. So the hats itself, again, drops from 3 dungeons and also from present dungeons, if you didn't know that. So how you're going to get more, you are going to get them. If you did loot collect your hat in the beginning, you can go to your tab. I don't know if I just have it right here. Oh, that could be cool. Oh, there's one right out there. So let me just go here and I can show you guys. You can buy back your helmet if you haven't loot collected too many items. So if you did, unfortunately, like me, you know, loot collected. All right, let's try that one more time. So we go into the loot collector, and as you can see, if you go down here into the little circle thingy down here, it's like an arrow that's bending. That means that you can buy stuff back. So you can see I have a bunch of stuff that I can buy back. So if actually I go into here and I go down here, I've locked this one now. It doesn't do that if you leveled it up. I just leveled up for fun and put some I just had fun and just put a bunch of stuff on it. But let's say I loot collect this one, so I'm just gonna loot collect it now. It is gone from my inventory, as you can see, it's gone right here. But if I go back here, and you can see the top one here, I can buy all of this back. So I'm just gonna buy it back, and there you go. Then it is bought back, and it's in my inventory once again. I just wanna go and lock it again, so it doesn't loot collect it. So if I press loot all, it's not going to loot collect. And I've done the same thing with the other one as well. So if I go in here, oh, that one is not locked, but now it is. So remember to lock it. It does have this long name. So when you go down the list, you can kind of see it. None of the other items really have this huge name here. So yeah, that can go as well in there. So yeah, as you can see, the buffs also keep being here, but they do time down if you are locked out. So you have to do the thing once again. So yeah, that's how you are going to get that. So again, it works from regular dungeons, it works from all of that. And again, you get the hats from tree dungeons and present dungeons. So keep doing them, and at some point you are going to get them. I got like one of them, but then I could buy back or loot collect again the other one as well. So that's why I have 2, but you can get up to 5, and it do have to be 5 different ones. So if you get one of the same ones, it unfortunately doesn't work. You do have to be 5 different ones to get that one as well. So I really hope that this is going to help you loot collect a lot more Pristine Snow over it. So basically the TLDR is get the hats from dungeons and then equip them, do a dungeon so you get the buff, and then start doing some tree dungeons, also present dungeons. Just keep doing them as well. So you are gonna get all of this. So yeah, that is how you are going to get more Pristine Snow. And if you have all 5 buffs, it's basically gonna ramp up pretty quickly. I think it's a very much fun way they did it. And I think that they should have, like, I know it said that on the orange text, but I really feel like they should have leaned more into the quest line and all the other stuff as well. And something I actually also wanted to talk really quickly about is that, if I can find some, is that in, for example, the medieval highlands, as we are in right here, if you see right there, there is a hat. And what hat is that? Let me just really attack it really quickly. That is going to be one of these. So the Snow Vader remnants you get from the permafrost biome, they basically, what happened is that they also went to the medieval highlands, but they basically, they melted, of course, because in medieval highlands, that's hot, you know, permafrost is cold, and they need to be cold. So you can find these all over the place. You can see there's another hat, and the, you know, carrots melted, not being, of course, any reference to, you know, Frosty the Snowman at any point. But yeah, you can get them a little bit easier, and I really feel like they should have, you know, leaned into this and kind of been a part of the quest line. But it is a fun little, I don't know if I want to call it an Easter egg or whatever, but I really wish that they would have like told us about this one, or like kind of, because it's a really, I feel like it's very fun little thing that you can then farm them here as well, instead of you only getting to the permafrost biome as well. It could have been like some joke where it's like, hey, they went to the medieval highlands to start out with, but then they all melted. So I don't know. I don't know if that would be in the quest line, but I think it's just pretty fun, and you can get them all over the place, as you can see. And you can actually go all the way down here, and that has the most medieval highlands, and then it's going to probably be a bunch of them. But that's enough for the video. I think you get the point. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!